A father asked to take his little daughter out and then fled with her. But when the police finally found them and uncovered the truth behind it all... Hi. Welcome to another story. If you enjoy it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications. Andrew was an ordinary man, but what defined him was the deep love he felt for his daughter and the silent anguish he carried since the separation that had cost him so much. His life changed completely when he discovered that the woman he had been married to had betrayed him, and this cruel revelation destroyed the family he believed was secure and stable. After the end of the marriage, custody of the daughter, Amy, was given to the mother, Sophia, and Andrew was left with only limited, restricted visitation rights, which tore his heart apart every day. Even so, he stayed strong, bearing the weight of loneliness. Andrew never stopped being the devoted father who always dreamed of the day he could hold the little girl in his arms again. At every meeting, he saw in Amy a light that kept him strong, even when the world seemed to conspire against him. But that light slowly began to fade when Sophia introduced Larry, her new boyfriend, who soon became Amy's stepfather. Andrew noticed the change from the very first time his daughter spoke about him. In the first visits after Larry arrived, Amy strangely became quiet, her gaze lost, her shoulders slumped. When Andrew hugged her, he felt her small body more tense than before, and it didn't take long for him to realize something was wrong. "Daddy, Larry yells a lot at home," Amy said, her voice low, almost a whisper, as she nervously fiddled with the sleeves of her jacket. Andrew held his daughter's small hands and looked deeply into her eyes, trying to keep the calm that was already starting to crumble inside him. "What did he do, sweetheart?" Andrew asked, feeling a tightness in his chest. Amy bit her lip, tears filling her eyes. "He pushed me yesterday, because I spilled juice on the floor. He got mad, really mad." Andrew's stomach churned. When he dropped Amy back off at Sophia's house that day, he fought the impulse to confront Larry at the door, but he knew it would only cause more problems. He started to notice purple marks on Amy's arms, small bruises she tried to hide. At the next visit, Andrew pulled her aside, kneeling down to be at her level. "Amy, who did this?" Andrew asked, his tone gentle but contrasted by the knot of anger in his throat. The girl looked down and murmured, "Larry." Andrew's nights became pure insomnia. He tossed and turned in bed, thinking about how he could protect his daughter. He called Sophia, trying to talk. "Sophia, we need to talk about Larry. Amy is scared. She's suffering." On the other end of the line, her cold voice hit him like a slap. "Andrew, you're exaggerating. Larry is just trying to discipline her, something you don't know how to do." Andrew closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. "She's afraid of him, Sophia. She told me serious things." "That's not discipline. It's abuse," Sophia scoffed. "You just want to destroy our family because you can't accept that I've moved on." Feeling trapped, Andrew decided to turn to the authorities. He went to the child welfare office, presented photos of the bruises, recounted his daughter's statements, described the changes in her behavior. The official listened, took notes, but in the end said, "We will open an investigation, Mr. Andrew. But these processes take time." Andrew clenched his fists. "Meanwhile, my daughter keeps suffering?" he asked, his voice faltering. The man shook his head, resigned. "I understand your concern, but there are protocols. We can't just intervene without more concrete evidence." Andrew tried to get testimonies. He spoke to Sophia's neighbors, but everyone was afraid to get involved. One of the few who spoke up was James, a retired gentleman who lived next door. "I hear the girl crying sometimes, but I don't know what happens inside, Andrew. I'm sorry." Desperate, Andrew went back to the office with this information. Again, he heard bureaucratic phrases. A neighbor's word is not enough. Every time he brought Amy back, Andrew felt as if he was handing her over to a nightmare. "Daddy, you'll come get me soon, right?" Amy asked, tears filling her eyes. "I will, sweetheart. I'll always come get you," Andrew replied, hugging her tight. But when he closed the car door, he felt like he was failing, like he wasn't able to protect her. Weeks passed, and with them, the bruises on Amy's body increased, as did the nightmares Andrew had at night. One day, Amy told him, trembling, "He didn't give me dinner because I didn't finish my homework. I was hungry." Andrew felt something break inside him. He went back to the authorities, now with even more reports. "Please, you have to do something," he begged. The response was a pile of excuses. "The process is underway. Custody can't be changed now. The family environment needs stability." Meanwhile, Sophia and Larry began spreading their version. Sophia called Andrew, furious. "Stop making up stories, Andrew. You're trying to tear us apart. You're sick with jealousy." Larry, when he saw him at the door, would mutter, "You're not going to take her from us, loser." Andrew held himself back from losing control. He didn't want anything to further harm his legal situation. The nights became torment. Andrew wandered around the empty house, running his hands over Amy's toys, feeling crushed by helplessness. "What do I do? What do I do?" he repeated to himself, hands on his face. Until one sleepless early morning, sitting on the couch, he made the most painful and desperate decision of his life. He wasn't going to wait any longer. He was going to get Amy out of that house, no matter what. In the following days, Andrew prepared everything in silence. He took his savings, bought new clothes for his daughter, backpacks, easy-to-carry foods, bottles of water. He looked at each item as he packed them away, feeling his stomach twist. "It's going to work. It's going to work," he repeated to himself, trying to convince his own mind. His thoughts swung between the fear of failing, the urgency to save his daughter, and the anticipated pain of knowing this meant breaking with Sophia for good. That weekend, he picked Amy up for their visit as usual. In the car, he looked at her through the rearview mirror. "Are you okay, Daddy?" the girl asked, suspicious. Andrew smiled, trying to hide the weight in his chest. "Yes, sweetheart. Today we're going to have lots of fun." They went to the park, where Amy ran, played, and smiled. Andrew watched her, recording every gesture in his memory while trying to control his racing heart. As night fell, he called her over. "Let's go, my love. Let's take a drive." Amy got in the car, still laughing from playing. Andrew started the engine and drove off. He didn't look back. A heavy silence filled the car. He gripped the steering wheel tightly, eyes fixed on the road. Amy, in the back seat, gazed out the window. "Where are we going, Daddy?" she asked, curious. Andrew took a deep breath. "To a safe place, sweetheart. Do you trust Daddy?" Amy nodded slowly. "I trust you, Daddy." Meanwhile, hours later, Sophia realized Andrew had not returned the child. She called several times, sent furious messages. When she got no response, she called the police. Authorities knocked on Andrew's door, searched every corner, but no one was there. The search began. Andrew drove along empty roads, carefully managing the fuel, stopping only when necessary. At night, he slept poorly in the car, holding Amy in his arms, making sure she stayed protected. Even tired, he kept a smile for her. "It's okay, my love," he whispered, though inside he was falling apart. At every stop, Andrew tried to hide his nerves. He bought quick supplies, kept Amy distracted. "Daddy, why are we traveling so much?" the girl asked. Andrew hugged her tight. "Because I want you to be safe, honey. That's all." Amy squeezed her arms around her dad. "I like it when we're together, Daddy." He held back tears, kissing her head. The days passed like that, tense, with Andrew trying to hide the panic and exhaustion. He looked at his turned-off phone, knowing dozens of messages and calls were waiting, but had no courage to answer. Every mile covered was a mix of fear and determination. "Just a little more, my love. Just a little more, Andrew murmured softly to Amy, even though she couldn't understand the real weight of those words. Finally, at a gas station, while filling up and giving Amy some water, he saw police lights approaching. His heart raced. He picked Amy up, holding her tight. She curled into his embrace, confused. "Daddy, what's happening?" she asked in a small voice. Andrew held her tighter. "I love you, sweetheart. I've always loved you." When the officers arrived, Andrew didn't resist. He surrendered quietly, feeling the weight of everything collapse around him. Amy, still in his arms, looked scared but safe, unaware of the storm surrounding them. He kissed her forehead. "It's going to be okay, my love," Andrew whispered before being handcuffed, his heart broken but certain he had done everything out of love. As he was taken away by the police, Amy was carefully placed in the patrol car, with an officer trying to calm her. "It's okay, little one. We're taking you to your mom," the officer said, looking at her with a forced smile. Amy, clutching her teddy bear tightly, mumbled, "But I want my daddy." At the station, Andrew sat in a cold room, hands cuffed, his mind spinning around everything that had happened. An investigator came in, pulled out a chair, and sat across from him. "Andrew, we need you to tell us what happened," the investigator said, direct but not aggressive. Andrew raised his head, eyes tired but determined. "I'll tell you everything. Everything you refused to listen to before." The investigator opened his notebook. "Start from the beginning. Why did you run away with your daughter?" he asked, locking eyes with Andrew. Andrew took a deep breath. "Because she was being mistreated, emotionally abused. I warned you so many times. I showed proof, asked for help, but no one listened. She told me crying how Larry treated her. The marks were there, on her arms. You chose to ignore all that. What kind of abuse, Andrew?" The investigator pressed, quickly taking notes. "He yelled at her. He pushed her. Left her without dinner, made sure to scare her," Andrew answered, voice choked with emotion. "She was afraid to go back to her mom's house. Every visit she told me more. Do you think I wanted to run away? I wanted to save my daughter." Meanwhile, Amy was returned to Sophia, who hugged her hurriedly. "Mommy was worried, my love," Sophia said, but without the tenderness Amy expected. Amy looked around, as if expecting to see Andrew coming. "Where's Daddy? I want my daddy," she said, voice full of tears. Sophia pressed her lips tight. "Not now, Amy. Daddy did something wrong. You're staying home." At the station, another officer entered the room. "Andrew, your previous complaints have been reviewed," the officer said. Andrew raised his eyes, exhausted, but with a glimmer of hope. "And now, do you believe me?" Andrew asked, almost without strength. The officer hesitated, flipping through documents. "The complaints you made before were never properly investigated. There were serious failures in the process." Andrew felt his heart tighten. "Then why did it take so long?" "I asked for help," Andrew exclaimed. The investigator sighed. "It's complicated. But now the situation is different. With everything you told us today, we'll need to act." Andrew slammed his cuffed hands on the table. "Please, look at my daughter. She can't stay with Sophia and Larry anymore." While he remained detained, news of Andrew's escape and arrest started to spread. Journalists appeared outside the station, cameras and microphones raised. A reporter asked, "Can we talk to him? We want to know what motivated this escape." Andrew's lawyer came in and spoke to him in the cell. "Andrew, the media wants to hear you. This could help. Do you want to talk to them?" the lawyer asked. Andrew took a deep breath. "Yes. If it can help Amy, I'll talk." In the interview, Andrew spoke with a firm voice. "I'm not a criminal. I'm a desperate father. My daughter told me, crying, how she was treated at home. I reported it, Did everything right, sought help. No one listened. I did what any father who loves his daughter would do. I tried to protect her. The story spread quickly. Within days, TV shows, radios, and even public forum debates talked about the case. Father wronged by bureaucracy flees to save daughter, read the headlines. People commented on the streets, outraged. How can a system fail like this? Said a woman to her neighbor. He just tried to save his daughter. He warned them, said another man. Public pressure grew so much that authorities were forced to review the case with unprecedented seriousness. A judge was called to urgently reevaluate Amy's custody. In court, Andrew, still handcuffed, faced Sophia and Larry, who sat with irritated expressions. The judge slammed the gavel. In light of new evidence and review of previous complaints, I order that Amy be immediately removed from Sophia and Larry's custody. From this moment, Andrew will be the legal guardian of the child, the judge said firmly. Andrew breathed a sigh of relief for the first time in a long time. Thank you. Thank you, he whispered, tears in his eyes, while the officers nearby exchanged looks. Sophia, outraged, stood up from her chair. This is absurd. He manipulated everything, Sophia shouted. The judge raised his hand. Silence. Decisions were made based on the evidence. Amy was handed over to Andrew as they left the courtroom. She ran toward him as soon as she saw him. Daddy! Amy shouted, throwing herself into his arms. Andrew held her tight, tears flowing freely. Now it's all right, my love. Now you're safe, Andrew said, emotional. Larry, from afar, just crossed his arms, with a bitter expression. The following days were devoted to rebuilding their lives. Andrew prepared Amy's room, made the house welcoming. Do you like your new room, sweetheart? Andrew asked, showing the organized toys, the bed made with the comforter she liked. I love it, Daddy. It's beautiful here, Amy said, smiling for the first time in a long time. Andrew dedicated himself to cooking for her, helping her with schoolwork, and, above all, listening to everything Amy wanted to say. Daddy, can I sleep without being scared now? Amy asked before lying down in her new bed. Andrew kissed her forehead. Yes, my love. Now you'll never have to sleep afraid again. Meanwhile, the authorities opened a general review of child protection procedures. The child welfare official gave an interview to the press. The case of Andrew and Amy exposed serious flaws that need to be fixed immediately. We will review all pending cases and adopt new protection protocols. On the street, people recognized Andrew as a symbol of resistance. A woman approached him as he walked with Amy. You're an example of a father. Thank you for fighting for your daughter, she said, emotional. Andrew smiled. I just did what any father would do for his child. Amy now went to school happily, participated in class, made friends, and most importantly, felt safe. One day at breakfast, she looked at her dad and asked, Daddy, will you always be with me, right? Andrew held her hand on the table. Always, my love. I'll never leave you again. The scars of the past still remained, but father and daughter began building a new routine, based on love, protection, and trust. Andrew cared for every detail of Amy's life, ensuring she had everything she needed to be happy. At night, before sleeping, Andrew always said, You are my greatest treasure, Amy. I promise to take care of you every day of my life. The future would still bring challenges, but they were ready to face them together. Andrew became an example, a symbol of the struggle of wronged and devoted fathers. He was invited to participate in forums and events about children's rights. When he spoke, Andrew always remembered, I'm not a hero. I'm just a father who loves his daughter and never gave up on her. Thus, the story of Andrew and Amy became a landmark, prompting real changes in the system, alerting authorities, and inspiring other families. Andrew knew he would never forget the pain they endured, but now he was certain they were safe, and that everything he had faced was worth it. Amy grew up peaceful, slept soundly, smiled sincerely, and above all, trusted her father with all her heart. Andrew, for his part, found hope and joy in life again. They rebuilt their bond day by day, carving out a future that, despite the hard past, now carried the promise of restored love, safety, and dignity. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, give it a like, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. See you in the next story.